I'll tell you what we can recognize, and that's your Dallas Cowboys getting off to a 1-0 start. And I guess, Newy, we'll just ask you, because, again, it's been kind of a consensus along everybody. Was Dallas that good, or was Cleveland that bad?
Both.
Okay.
I mean, two things can be true. After the game, I asked Micah Parsons about defensively how they were doing things, and he said, look, Cleveland was compromised today without the tackles. He said Deshaun Watson's still a hard guy to get down, but at the end of the day, he says they're going to be a better football team down the road, which I think that's a fair statement. And the Browns have been good at home. So what do you do when the other team's got some when they're compromised? Hey, man, you go right at them. Mm-hmm. You go give them that work, and that's what they did. So I was impressed with what they did and how they did it, because that's what you're supposed to do when you're got a team and they got a weakness, go attack it. I thought the offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys with those two rookies held up very well. Mm-hmm. I looked at that and I felt like, man, you know what? It gets tougher. You got some serious pass rushers going down this list here that Guyton's going to have to face that left tackle spot and BB at the center spot. But you know what? Game one, they did well. And you have to look at those positives and take that view.
Okay, I got to give props where props are due. I got to talk about your nephew, DeMarvion Overshown, UT. He showed up and showed out. That's your guy. Please give us your scouting report on his NFL debut. Last year he was hurt. He's basically a rookie, but he led the team in tackles.
Well, I mean, look, that's a lot of Clarence Hill, man. It's Clarence guy, all behind this Texas dude.
Yeah,
you have hopes of what you think a player could be. That's what Will McClay and those guys have. They hit really well. Gary Patterson, who was down there at Texas for a year, he had nothing but good things to say about Overshown. And, man, once again, game one, real good. Mike Zimmer's figured out how, in one game, how to make this player pop on tape. So let's see if you can do it again. Because, Chris, that's one thing we've seen a lot of times. Guys can come out and have a good game, but can you do it again? That's what the great ones have to do. Can you do it again? When people start looking at film, where do you go? Where do you overrun? How do we attack you? That's when the challenges come. So far, one game, good. You don't want to get too high about it. You just want to say, hey, nice job. Let's see you do it again. Different opponent this week with the Saints at home. How do you handle everything at home, too? Because you think about this. Now, while he's not a rookie, it's his first game. Now family wants to come in. Now you got all kind of other distractions. How do you handle those other things that go into you being a professional football player?
Okay, so I called him your nephew because Clarence Hill is his daddy because he went to UT. And I know that you and Chill both went up. Didn't you go up to Michigan to see that game with Chill?
No, I did not.
Why did I think you were there?
Derek Eagleton went, no.
That's right. He sure did. I saw the picture of all the Omegas hanging out up there. That's what it was. That's what made me think you were there.
No, I did not go, man. I just flew into Cleveland, hung out downtown, and really the first time since when I left there, 96, from working at Channel 5 up there.
Right.
I kind of had really just hung out downtown for a little bit and took it all in. So, yeah, I just stayed there. Plus, I mean, Chris, going to these games, it's a 3-hour drive. You got to get there 3 hours before.
Oh, yeah.
And then, game ends. That was like, that's too much. I don't love Texas football like that. They do.
That's right. You, North Carolina, AT&T.
So I'm just like, hey, man, these guys, you guys enjoy it. It was fun to watch it on TV for them. Glad they got to go to the big house, and all my other friends who are Texas folks got to go there and enjoy it. But it just wasn't something I wanted to cross off any bucket list of mine.
Right. By the way, let me give you a shout out again. You're also TCU because you got that degree. What's your degree again? The new TCU degree?
I have an executive MBA, sir.
Boom! Scared of you.
Yeah, I'm always proud of that.
Newy Scruggs, Channel 5, NBC, joining us here on the D&M Leasing Hotline. You mentioned hope and that, from a defensive standpoint, hey, you hope these guys come around. What's the hope looking like for that running back room?
Mike McCarthy's a passing guy. I mean, can you think of any great running back under Mike McCarthy? Mike's had great passers.
Facts.
They run the ball. These guys are complimentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they're complimentary guys. Every now and then you'll see a guy have like a Eddie Lacy have a couple of good years. Ryan Grant had a nice little year, their Super Bowl year, till he got hurt. But Mike's going to be about throwing the football, not running it. The running game will be a compliment. I really don't care how they get these guys together. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
What will be interesting is to see where are the Cowboys at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get to the trade deadline and it looks like, hey, maybe we need to add a little punch, would they go out and do something? Right now, that's kind of my focus on it. Let's see what happens. He was praising Dalvin Cook earlier this week. Let's see what happens here. And if they feel like they're close, does Jerry actually live up to the all-in and go and get somebody who, a player that maybe a team is willing to part with? We don't know. So let it play out.
I am with you on this. In fact, we were talking about this a little earlier because the Cowboys just this afternoon reworked the contract for Terrence Steele, the right tackle, to give about $4.5 million worth of cap space this year that they could push to next year. But I was remembering last year, LVE gets hurt. Leighton Vander Esch is basically out for the season. His career is over. He retired. And all they needed was some linebacker help because what was DQ doing? He kept turning safeties into hybrids. And I'm like, they got to get a real linebacker. And Steven sat on the money. So I'm with you. I want to see if Jerry's all in and is actually going to try to do something if they need some depth.
And that also means that they, as an organization, as a team, they got to go. Those guys, the players, got to go. They got to go do their part.
Yeah, they got to be ready. They got to say, we're worth it. I got you. They got to do like the Rangers did with CY. We're worth it.
Right. Force their hand. Their hand to say, we need some help. We're doing our part. We need you to help give us some help. And look, what we saw with Amari Cooper, a few years ago when Jason Garrett was here, they were 3-5, and they made that deal. So that let's see what happens there and how they get along. We haven't even seen Dalvin Cook in the game yet to see what he can do, and it's just one game. But by the time you face your next game against the Saints, against Baltimore, then you get the Giants, you're going to get the Steelers. You're going to get a taste of kind of what needs to happen for your football team to improve it.
Couldn't agree with you more, and that's why, you look at this team, and outside of a CeeDee Lamb, you kind of question, all right, who's going to be that next speedy playmaker, and you just wonder if there's that guys on that roster, like you said, and CA and I touched on, will they make a move come trade deadline? But you mentioned the New Orleans Saints coming to town. That's another team that, again, handled their business on Sunday against what looks like might be the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers. When you look at this New Orleans Saints team, look, anybody can win on any given Sunday. What would you say worry? I don't know if worry is the right word, but as far as an upset alert, what troubles you the most about New Orleans Saints?
Their coordinator is a San Francisco Kyle Shanahan disciple.
Yeah.
So they ran the ball 37 times against Carolina, passed it 23. So once again, for the Cowboys, and the challenge for Mike Zimmer, how do you make sure you stop the run? They did a very good job against Cleveland in taking away their run and the competitive phase of the football game through three quarters. For a while there, after the Browns got the 3 points on their opening drive, the next 10 drives, the Cowboys shut them down with either by 6 punts, 2 interceptions, and 2 drives that ended in downs. So stopping the run was a big deal. So let's see if they can do it again. And Alvin Kamara is a guy that they'll also try to have him come out of the backfield on screen passes. And this is where an Overshown and Eric Kendricks, your linebackers, are going to get tested this week. So let's see how they handle it. Parcells used to have that great line. You don't eat the cheese. And too many times Cowboy fan gets shot up with that hopium, and they just want to talk about singing "We Them Boys," we're back, and all that. Like, this is National Football League. You've got to be ready to go at home. At least you forget, and one of the players mentioned it this afternoon in the locker room. Let's not forget Arizona last year. This team is not good enough to start overlooking people, and you don't want to sit up here and say, Carolina's the worst team in the league. Carolina, bad day under a new head coach on the road. It's not like the Superdome's an easy place to go ahead and win. The thing looked a little bad. Good coaches, guys figuring things out here, they can improve. There was a point last year you didn't think Cleveland was going to get where they were, but they ended up going to the playoffs. So I just know you don't want to judge things off 1 week other than to say the Cowboys were ready. They did their job. The Saints were ready. They did their job. Now here comes the test, and let's see what happens on Sunday at Jerry World at noon.
Newy, it's my first time chit-chatting with you. You've been everything and more as delivered. I appreciate your time on a busy Wednesday. And, hey, you got to see your boy Nelly as well.
Yes, it's a good day. I live a good life. God has blessed me. I appreciate all that I have. You guys have a safe night.